Hey everybody! I have a fun tutorial for you today to show you how to make a flat sequin shaker on your projects. So I have a sheet of white cardstock. I'm going to be working with the Wonders collection from Paige Evans, and I have a gorgeous set of sequins that I designed that perfectly matches this collection. So the sequins are called Wonderland. If you have them in your stash, here is a really fun way to showcase them and use them. So let's get started. I'm going to go through my papers, decide which ones I want to use. Just a bit of a note as I flip through my papers. We have a little bit of a scheduling change. My dear friend Amy, who is doing hybrid boot camp with me, wasn't able to get her video up for today. So instead, I'm going to have this tutorial for you, and then next week will be hybrid boot camp. So if you are part of the spending freeze happening over at the Rediscover Your Stash Facebook group, you know that my good friend Jody, who owns Spiegel Mom Scraps, issued everyone a challenge to use 2 packages of sequins on one project, and it inspired me to get this tutorial up and this project made. This is something I've kind of been meaning to do for a bit, so let's go for it. I'm going to do lots of the purples and the pinks, a little yellow, and those butterflies for my page today. I mentioned before, or in another video, that I keep using all of the pink. Actually, I don't think that video goes up until the 10th. It doesn't. Okay, so most of the layouts I've created using the Wonders collection, I concentrate on the blues and greens and a little bit of yellow, but primarily blues and greens. And that means I have tons of purple and pink left from this collection, so that's what we're going to use today. I am using that purple paper. Just cut the branding strip off. Now this is some nice thick white cardstock, and I'm cutting it down to be 11.5 by 11.5. There is a reason I'm doing that. You'll see in a minute. So I have my white cardstock cut down. I have a nice purple background. Now this paper, this butterfly paper, I'm going to cut this to 4 inches by 11.5. And we're going to use that as the back of our shaker. So what I'm going to do today is not anything new. It's not anything that I created. It is based on a card technique to create a shaker. And I thought that I could kind of take that card technique and alter it and make it part of a layout. This is just a piece of 12 by 12 clear acetate. I'm going to cut it by 4 1/4. So now we have 4 1/4 by 12 on the acetate, and we have 4 or 4.5. So the acetate is 4.5 by 12. The butterfly paper is 4 by 11.5. I'm going to take some washi tape because I want to hold some of this in place, just to hold it. So I have nice even borders around all my pattern paper. I don't want to lose those borders. I don't want things to shift, and I'm working with acetate, which is some slippery stuff. Next up, I'm going to grab a pen knife. You can use an X-Acto knife, anything you have that works. And I'm lining my ruler up with the corners and then cutting the acetate off. So you're getting rid of the corners of your acetate. You're not cutting the paper, just the acetate corners. And then what I'm going to do is grab 1/4 inch tear tape from the Spiegel Mom Scraps shop. I will leave my affiliate link to the shop down below if you are in need of some adhesive. This is a really great place to grab it, especially if you need some adhesive for shakers. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put the tear tape on the pattern paper, and then I'm gonna fold my acetate over, and the tear tape is super sticky, and the tear tape grabs that acetate and holds it down. So we're gonna do 3 sides with the tear tape. We're gonna leave the 4th side open at first because that's where we're gonna add our sequins, but then we're gonna add the tear tape in and put it down. So really easy. Pull the tear tape up, fold the acetate down, and you are good to go. You could do this with any kind of size that is like rectangle. So you can make this as thin as you want. You can make it as wide as you want. You can do a box. I think that you could do a hexagon because you just need the corners. I think I could make a hexagon work, possibly. But for today, we're just going to do this kind of wide border strip across the bottom. So any kind of shape you can imagine that has nice angles and corners. Circles wouldn't work. But yeah, you can add these cute little shakers to your projects. What's really nice about this is you don't need the foam tape. So you don't need to worry about like covering. Have you ever done that where you have to have something to kind of cover that white foam tape? This kind of eliminates that. The other thing this does that I love is that your shaker ends up being flat. Granted, flat is a relative term, right? But flatter than when you do a regular shaker with the foam tape, right? So now we have something that's not any more bulky than an epoxy flare or a brad, something like that. So I'm dumping in both packages of these Wonderland sequins. Lots of sequins. I did reserve a couple, and we're going to use those as some sprinkle around my layout as we get going here. Last little bit of tear tape, and that's going to hold all those sequins in place. Well, closed. Hold those. But isn't that easy and fun? And you eliminate a product, you get a flat shaker, and it's so cool. I love it. So that's what our shaker looks like. Now let's put our layout together. I'm going to start by matting my photos. So I have this super cute photo of my niece, and it is my niece and her Peppa Pig, which you're going to see more pictures of my niece and her Peppa Pig coming up later this week for my shimmers layout, so just keep that in mind. I'm going to double mat it with the yellow and the purple. And I'm going to make that purple mat really, really skinny. So it's just going to be a little bit of contrasting color. And I just used a scrap and one of the cardstock papers from the Wonders paper pad. I adhered my shaker to the bottom of my layout, and then I added a yellow 1-inch strip of paper just across to kind of give the shaker that kind of finished edge. And then I'm using a whole bunch of Big Mama foam tape to pop my photo up so that I can place my photo and kind of let it sit on the shaker pocket. So it actually sits a bit up higher than the shaker pocket, but that's okay because I wanted to overlap it. I'm going to go ahead and go through my die cuts here, and what I'm going to pull is the light pink color. I'm going to grab that Some Kind of Wonderful and use that as my title, and then I'm just going to grab the light lavender and the light pink flowers. I'm not going to use all of them because, as you can see, they're ginormous, but I want to get a couple pink and purple layouts done with this collection because I am actually running out of the greens and the blues because those are the ones I keep using over and over again. So I'm just going to go through everything, kind of set the colors I'm not going to use aside, and pull together some embellishments for my layout. I'm going to start with my largest floral pieces. And you can see here that I just cut them in half, so I only used 2 die cuts. and I cut them in half, and I'm going to place my title right here. And now I just want to fill in that area. So I want to add things like the butterflies, the dragonflies, and I want to create some like cascading clusters around those 4 larger elements, and then a little bit around my title. So I'm just going to place them around here. I'm going to start with the die cuts, then I'm also going to move on to some of the stickers from the sticker book and some of the stickers from the paper pad, and add some smaller elements here and there, and kind of create this loose garden of flowers and butterflies like you see here. So I'm just going to keep adding to these areas near my flowers with some of the other elements. So you can see here by adding these kind of smaller clear stickers and kind of popping them in under and around my flowers and kind of alternating the colors. I love, love, love how these clusters around my photo and title turned out. They worked really well. They look kind of loose and cascading like I wanted to, but they don't look like too full, if that makes sense. So there's some white space there. And then, but at the same time, it goes with the crazy at the bottom. I hope that makes sense. So that shaker pocket is really busy and really eye-catching. And so I wanted to keep the top part of the layout kind of more open. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add some foam tape to some of my elements just to kind of pop them up, give them a bit of dimension. And I have a couple things besides the flowers that are coming off the page, like that purple butterfly right there. So it's not just the flowers, but it looks like these kind of loose clusters continue past the edges of the page. Once I am happy with where all the clusters are, I'm going to take those reserved sequins. You can see I didn't save very many from the 2 packs that are in the shaker. I just grabbed a couple, and I'm going to grab a couple little areas of this white space and add just a couple of sequins. The other thing is that most of the ones I reserved were the light pink lavender color, so they aren't going to add a lot of visual weight. My beautiful garden that I've got going on there is still going to be kind of the highlight, and the sequins are just going to help to pull in the shaker element into the top. That's also why I added the butterflies, because the pattern paper in the back is the butterfly paper. So I'm taking those elements, the butterflies and the sequins, and kind of pulling them up through the rest of the layout. And that's where we are going to call this layout done. I love how this turned out. I recommend trying this. It was fun, it was easy, and it really adds a pop of something different to your layout. Have a wonderful, wonderful day, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.